And we're back on PALS TV. Hopefully, you guys had a fun break, and I know we had a lot of fun with our first segment. And I'm really looking forward to going down to Gallia for our second segment. But before we do that, we can just check in to see how Lisa's doing. I see Lisa stopping by. How are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well. I see Nick's giving you the salute, so it seems like he's excited to see you as well. So it says that you had a Johnny Appleseed Day planned for us. Tell us about that.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of history about Johnny Appleseed, and then we are making apple butter. We're cheating a little bit because it's a 2-day process and there's no way to do it today. And then we have some different types of apples, and we're going to cut them and eat them, and everybody can kind of give their opinion on what they like, what's their favorite. And then we're going to show you some other things that you can do with apples.
That sounds awesome. I love apple butter. Nick, do you, by show of hands, have you guys ever had apple butter? Do you like apple butter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is the best. Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
I know one of my little quirks is if I go to a restaurant and they have the little apple butter things, I'm stuffing my wife's purse with all the apple butter. I'm like, I love apple butter. So this will be fun.
Do you get a chance to go to the Apple Festival in Jackson when they have that?
I have not. When is that?
Well, it's usually in September, but
okay.
due to COVID, there won't be an Apple Festival this year. So,
yeah, well, that's something I'll have to mark on the calendar for next year.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, I will let you tell us about Johnny Appleseed. I look forward to hearing about him, too. He was an interesting person.
He was an interesting character. Okay, guys. How many of you guys have heard of Johnny Appleseed? Okay, probably one of my earliest recollections of Johnny Appleseed, I think, was probably the Disney version. And whether or not he actually did this, they depicted that he left. He had a big farm, but he left. He was one of what they called a journeyman, frontiersman, and he traveled through Pennsylvania and Ohio planting apple trees. Now, the earlier versions of Johnny Appleseed, and whether or not this is what he wore, this is kind of what they think that he looked like. Of course, he was about kind of like Mother Nature, so he's replenishing the trees, which we know right now that's a really big thing, is trying to save trees where people just cut them down so much. But he went through and was replenishing them. So they said that he ran around with a pot on top of his head. So I thought about trying to do that, but apparently my head is much larger because I can't find a pot like this that will fit my head. But they just show him like in nature that how the animals loved him, and because he was good to the earth. So he traveled through his actual, does anybody know what his actual name was? It wasn't Johnny Appleseed. That's Zach back there. But does anybody know what his name actually was? No? His name was actually John Chapman. It was John, but it was actually John Chapman. But when he died, he actually had 1,200 acres, I think they said it was, of his own land, and of course apple orchards were all over. So He's probably started, I don't know how many varieties of apples were back there, but can anybody take a guess on how many varieties of apples worldwide that there are? And it's a big number. It's a lot more than what I thought there was. Let me see. Next, trying to count.
200.
How many?
200.
200?
Yeah.
No. Well, there's actually more than that. It's actually Dusty. What do you think, Dusty?
300?
300. No, it's even much more than that.
Sorry.
I know, Dick. What do you think, Caitlin?
1,000?
1,000. You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. It's even in that big number. Yes. Okay, Nick.
Is it 5?
5,000.
Yeah.
5,000. It's actually a little more than that. Who would have thought there would be that many apples, right? Okay, so it's more than 5,000, but it's less than 10. It's less than 10,000. I can't imagine there being 10,000 different kinds of apples. Would you believe there is 7,500 different varieties, 7,500 different varieties of apples? It makes no sense. And I know the store doesn't have that many of them, so I can't imagine that there's that many.
It's pretty disturbing because the problem isn't debatable. The solution may be.
Okay, let me get you guys. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys that we're doing, and we'll have a couple helpers. Let me get logged in here. I'm going to move my, we're going to show you how to we're making apple butter is the first thing that we're going to do. This is, you're not supposed to be all over. Where's your mask? Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. Go get your mask. If you're gonna be around me, get your mask.
It is
Okay.
cold.
We're gonna show you how we're gonna make some apple butter here at the center, but we're actually gonna cheat a little bit. I told Jonah it's kind of like a 2-day process. Of course, you have to get the apples. Oh, it's clown day over here.
That's right.
But you have to, usually we go to the orchard and we get the apples. And then we bring them back. And of course you have to wash them. Sit down. This is yours. Wash them, and then depending which way that you do it. A lot of people peel the apples first, and then you cut them up in pieces, and you're going to cook them on low, and you can even put them in a pan and bake them, and the apples soften. I like to do mine with the peelings on, and I use a particular kind, which is a Rome apple, because it has a really nice pink color to it, and the inside, the flesh, when it cooks down, it makes it pink, and it gives you that really pretty color when you're making it. So, but we're cheating today. We haven't been to the orchard yet. We're going to get there, but we haven't been there yet to get our apples. And so what we're going to show you is how we're cheating a little bit and how you go about seasoning it and everything. So let me. Okay, Erica, you want to come up here?
Yeah. I'll get
You
it.
guys are around here. Okay, so this is our crock pot. This is how we're cheating today, because oh look, it looks like we've already cooked the apples down.
Yeah.
Okay. So we actually are using applesauce, which is basically the same thing as just cooked apples. Okay, it's cooked down, and it's unsweet. So that way we're going to add our own. Okay. So I'm gonna. Erica, open We're gonna add, first thing we're gonna do is add our sugar. Oh, put it up here. You have to be smarter than a bag of sugar. Okay, we're gonna start with cup. So Erica's gonna put a cup of sugar in there. All right, guys, we're starting. A little bit more. And of course, we're making a mess. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, dump it in. But my grandmother always said that if you don't make a mess when you're cooking, it's not fit to eat.
No.
You're fine. Okay. Okay, give me one of those. Yeah, give me one. Okay, so we put a cup of sugar in.
This one?
That's
Sorry.
So try to get, we're probably gonna add 2 to that one. So go ahead and get another one. We've got our pot on high. So we're gonna try to get this to them before we get home today.
I'm gonna do it.
That's pretty close. Yeah, the ants are gonna love us here. If we don't put that in there. Okay. So we're gonna start with 2 cups of sugar. Like I said, this is unsweetened. So there's really no recipe for it. It's just what you like to taste. Next thing we're gonna do, we're going to ground cinnamon.
I'm going to. But I just.
Well, we might get some. Jack, where are those scissors?
Like, really simple.
Okay, Zach, bring me those scissors. Okay. Now we're gonna put okay. So I'll add Erica, sprinkle some cinnamon, and I'll just kind of eyeball it again. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. Shake it. I tell you that we dump it, but then we probably end up with the whole bottle. Okay, let's stir it and see what. It's starting to change color a little bit.
Hello.
Yeah, let's put some more. Oh, I just told you guys, you cannot cook without making a mess. It's not fit to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, stir some more.
Yes, man.
Okay, so see it's starting to change the color. We're gonna get some cinnamon in there. I know some people don't like cinnamon, some people are allergic to it. But if you're gonna eat apple butter, you have to like cinnamon.
I know.
That's what it basically
Chucky?
is.
Yeah, check.
I'm going to take it fine.
Okay, it's starting to get some color to it. Yeah, it's brown.
How much trouble?
So we're like, can you smell the cinnamon now? Can't smell it?
It is. How about
Yeah, now she can smell it.
take it fine?
Okay.
Yeah, but
The
it-
next thing I'm gonna put, and I know you guys probably
Oh, okay.
this is a really tiny bottle. This is cinnamon oil, and a little bit goes a long way. If you guys, I don't know how many of you guys eat the stained glass candy or the hardtack candy. These are the flavors. These little bottles are like. So this is gonna give it. I'm not gonna put a lot because I'm not gonna want it. And it's pretty good.
How much we gonna put in that?
Let me just. 4 or 5 drops. Okay. So that's. That's good. Now, can you smell how potent that is?
Oh,
It's really got cinnamon. Yeah. We're gonna let this come down. And we can taste it here a little bit to figure out whether we need to add more to it. But we have one more thing to put in. It's kind of like the secret ingredient and what gives it that really pretty color. You guys ever seen these? Red hot cinnamon flavored candy. These are hard to find sometimes, especially around apple butter season because people use these a lot. So we're gonna let Erica. No.
how much?
Start with half a box and we'll see if it's the whole thing. There. Now when that starts cooking that secret, starting to get pink. That's what you're that really pretty color. So we're gonna let this cook before we leave today. We're gonna come back over and make it. But it smells really good right now.
Where's Mardo?
That's good.
That's not good enough. Like I said, the ants are gonna love us. Okay, put the lid on it, we're gonna let it cook down. All right. Pop back over here.
Smells good.
That's this one. Okay. All right. So we're gonna let that cook a little bit. Now, normally, here at the center, like I said, we would go to the orchard and get our apples, cook them, or peel them, cook them down, which usually takes a day. Then we come in the next day, put them in the pot, start them again. Now, the way we do it over at home or to the church is, have you guys seen those big bean pots outside, the big black kettles, and you start a fire underneath them? That's the best way to do it, is you cook them over an open fire and you get that big wooden spoon and you just keep stirring it. And there's a secret to it, that if you put a silver dollar in the bottom of the pot, it'll keep the substance from sticking, from the apple butter from sticking. I was told that was an old wives' tale, but it's pretty true. If you stick it in the bottom and as you're cooking the apples down, usually when we do that, we have a hog roast and cook a big pot of beans on another kettle, and we just make a day of it. And it's usually a lot of fun. A lot of friends get together. So we're going to go back and look at that later. Now I'm going to show you guys. I probably should have turned that off. We've got some different kinds of apples. I'm just going to show you a variety of them and how they look, why they look different, and what some of the differences are. Now, like I said, there's no way 7,500 different kinds of apples, and the stores don't carry that many. The store at best might carry 8 to 10 different varieties of apples. So we're gonna cut them and do some little taste testing with everybody and see what they think. Let me get you back on here. I forgot. I'll leave you right there, right there, right there, right there. No, we're not. That sounds really. All right, all right, all right. Okay. We're having some major technical. Hold on, guys. There we are.
I'm gonna unmute you here, and then
Okay.
do you
Is
have
that better?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this one we're going to show you. This is what they call a Fuji apple. Okay. And it is probably reddish. It's got some yellow, maybe even some, I guess you would say the red and yellow together is orange. And so we're gonna let our taste testers try this and see what they think. See what Fuji apple. You guys could probably take your mask off if you want to do this. Okay. Alright. We have washed all the apples before we laid them out. So I'm just gonna show you guys. There's Kathy and Erica and Daryl. Maybe. But we've got some different ones, and like I said, we're gonna let them try. There you go. Take your paper plate. Daryl, you want to try one?
We get a deal with them?
Tracy, you want to try?
Yeah.
Zach, you gonna try an apple?
Yeah.
Or no?
Do this too.
Okay. All right. This is the Fuji. There you go, Kathy. Erica. There you go. Daryl.
Yeah.
There you go, bud. Okay. So everybody's gonna try this one and see what they think of it. Now Tracy likes to make fun of me because when we get on the van in the evenings, a lot of times I have an apple in my hand and she'll laugh and she'll say, "Oh, you're eating an apple again." So what do you guys think?
That's good, Lisa.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. A Fuji apple, what makes it a good apple is it is crisp and juicy. It has a lot of juice to it. My personal, I like an apple that's firm. If it's soft, I don't want to eat it. I want a really firm apple. So you guys like that one? That one's good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, this is not an apple. It looks like an apple. It doesn't have the color of it that an apple really has. It's more brown, but it's actually a pear. But it does have characteristics of an apple. And it has a high water content like an apple. And so a lot of people use these in pies and things. So we're gonna cut this one. Everybody try this one. I guess everybody's gonna vote. See what their favorites are. Okay. Here, I'm just gonna put it on here and you guys can pass them down. Hi. See what you guys think of If it's possible, it tastes like a pear and an apple too, if it's possible, but it actually is. What do you think? What do you think, Erica?
A little bit sour.
A little bit sour?
Hot, hot.
Kathy says thumbs up. What about you, Daryl? You like it? Tracy?
I like it.
You like it?
Yep. It kind of tastes a little bit like the apple, but not really.
But not really. Yeah, Erica says it tastes a little bit like an apple, but more like a pear, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The skin's a little tougher, but it's really juicy. And that's what makes a good apple, is if it's really juicy. Okay. Okay, moving on. Red Delicious. Red Delicious is the most popular kind of apple that there is. If you're going to go to the store, most of the time, this is probably what you're always going to find. Now, this is a little bit deeper red. But if you look at the top of it, it's lots of pink. Then it's a firm apple too. Like I said, I want a firm apple. If it's mushy, I don't want to eat it. We're going to eat all these apples, and then we're not going to be hungry at lunch because we've ate all these apples. But Tracy laughs at me because I love apples, and I'm usually eating them on the way down the road as we're going home for the evening. I told Tracy asked me, she said, "You really like apples?" And I said, "Well, I was always told," what is it, Tracy? An apple a day
Takes the doctor away.
keeps the doctor away. So if you eat apples, they have lots of vitamins, vitamin C. It's a good carb. These are the good carbs, not the bad carbs, if everybody's looking. Okay, so we're gonna try the red one. Now, red apples are not good. Yeah, the red one right there. Red apples are not good for baking. Red apples don't really make good pies or anything. It's just a good tasting apple, but they're not really good. Red, good. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daryl, red one good? I think. Now, to be healthy, of course, you're just going to eat them. But occasionally we want to dip them in caramel or peanut butter. Those are good. Okay. So peanut butter or caramel make a good little snack before bedtime. And apples, like I said, apples are a good carb. And if you eat an apple before bed, it keeps your sugar regulated during the night. It's a good option. Okay. So the next one we have is called, let me get this one out of the way. It is a sweet tango. Okay. And it is more of a light red, peachy color. It's got some yellow, the peach on it. Yes, I still have the tag on it. And we have cleaned all these. Even though they come in the store clean, we always want to make sure that you wash them because you don't know how they've been shipped and they may have dirt and things on them. So Sweet Tango is supposed to be citrusy and supposed to be able to taste a little bit of honey or even a little bit of spiciness in the apple. So we're going to see if that really is true. I have apples everywhere. Okay, guys, let's try this one. This one is our Sweet Tango. Okay. Try this one. Okay, this one I really like. But I like Granny Smith because Granny Smith is tart. This one is tart. It's almost sour tart, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you think, Daryl? You like that one? It's tart, isn't it? It's really good. This one I bet would make a good pie too. Pie, bread, cake, something like that. And September is usually apple season around here. And as I was telling Jonah, Jackson, Ohio has an apple festival where you go and they have all kinds of activities, parade and everything, but a lot of things are made with apples. And they do apple dumplings with ice cream, caramel sauce. It's the best dessert in the world. But because of COVID, there is not going to be an apple festival this year. So we thought we would do our own apple activities for the month of September. Okay, so everybody was like, Erica's not really sure whether she likes the tartness.
No, I don't like the tart.
Okay, this one is called a New Zealand Indie. Okay, it is similar, a little bit similar to that Sweet Tango that we just had. It's a firm apple, and it's reddish orange. Okay, it's a little bit different color. Got a lot of the striping. I like the way that is. I don't know. This one might make a good apple butter too. I don't know. I like the flesh on it. I like the color. All right. We're down. Okay, it's a little softer outside, but I think the flesh, the meaty part, is a little bit softer, so it's easier to cut through. Okay, this is this one. This one is sweeter, softer. It's not as hard to chew or bite, right? You like that?
Yeah.
Daryl, like that? Do you have a favorite yet? Anybody?
No.
Daryl, do you have a favorite?
I like this one.
You like that one?
And the first one.
And the first one, the very first one, which is the Fuji. I know Fuji are my favorites. The FFA at this high schools, they usually sell fruit from Florida and different places. The apples, I think, come from Michigan. And Fuji, I always get the Fuji apples and the Golden Delicious because those are kind of like my favorite. Okay, moving on. Okay, this one is one that you're going to see a lot. Kathy, can you hand me that bag there? Okay. If you go to the Apple Festival, most of the time, this is what your apples are going to come in. Okay. This is kind of, this is how they bag them. You can pick them up. But at the Apple Festival, mostly this is what it is, this cute little bag that comes with a handle on it. But a Golden Delicious is more yellow. Now, this one probably needs to ripen just a little bit more, depending on, the sun and where it's at, but they'll be really, really yellow. And when they're really yellow, they're really sweet. A Golden Delicious makes the very best apple pies in the world. Now, if you want something, if you like a tart apple, you can use a Golden Delicious and a Granny Smith together, and it is amazing. It's such a good pie. It's like, we love summer here, but fall we love because it's the pumpkins and the apples and hot chocolate and hot cider and all those things. Now, in October is supposed to be the Bob Evans Farm Festival, and you can go and have hot apple cider slushies, which are really good. And that's another favorite of ours. And then they have some of the groups that come and make the apple butter, and you can buy it, the pints and the quarts and everything. Okay, so this one is just a Golden Delicious. Tracy or Daryl, you want to try it? See what you think of a Golden Delicious. Right? Golden Delicious is softer. It's really sweet. And like I said, they're just good for baking and cooking, anything. If you guys are big breakfast eaters and you like fried apples, it makes really good fried apples. Put you some butter in a pan, slice those up, a little bit of cinnamon, sugar. Goes really good with biscuits. And I'm getting hungry and wish I would have brought biscuits. I'm probably gonna have to bring biscuits tomorrow for our apple butter once we get it on. So what do you think? Like that one? Kathy really likes the Golden Delicious. What do you think, Daryl? It's hard to pick a favorite, isn't it? They're really good. Okay. Okay, so the next one is a Honey Crisp, right? And it is red and yellow. This one preserves really well. The shelf life on it, like if you don't have to keep it refrigerated, if you just keep it in one of those little bowls on your kitchen table, you know, makes it look pretty. They preserve really well. They don't go bad easily. It is a firm apple. Like when you grab it, it's really firm. And I think these are supposed to be crispy and juicy as well. Like I definitely want a juicy apple. Don't you? I know I'm making you guys hungry with all these apples. I apologize. we like to snack and we try to do healthier options, so we're not eating junk all the time. Okay. Yeah, the other side's getting hungry now. Mandy says, "Here you go, Daryl." She's gonna tell me all about it. Mm. Oh.
They're entertaining.
Hmm?
They're entertaining.
You like this one?
I like it from the best.
Me too. I think I like this one the best.
I would take tape off that one.
Oh, this one is really, really super good. It's really juicy and it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's really, really sweet. It's just got a really good flavor. Sweet and juicy, Daryl says. He loves it. Okay. Okay. And our last one.
Oh, I love that one.
Green. Now, if you're going to an orchard to pick apples, you don't want to pick the green ones. If you eat a lot of green ones, they make your belly hurt if they're not right. But this one is green because it's supposed to be green, okay? It is a Granny Smith. The Granny Smith is extremely tart. And believe it or not, Granny Smith is the healthiest, they say. Yes, with all the the vitamins that it has in it, that a Granny Smith is actually your healthiest apple. So this is the last one we get to taste. Okay. Mandy is giving us down the road because they have not had any snacks yet. So they're listening to us eat apples. Okay. So here's our green ones. Now this one is going to be a little sour if you don't like, especially after eating that sweet one, it's going to be a little sour. What do you think, Erica?
I don't like it.
Erica says no on the Granny Smith. It's too sour.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I love them. Like that one? What do you think? Not bad. Kathy's liked all of them too. Daryl, what do you think, bud? That one pretty good, but not as good as the last one, right? Daryl's busy eating. What do you think, Daryl? Pretty good? Daryl says pretty good. I'm trying to find. Okay. Now, there's one more apple that the store didn't have. I'm going to show you. It is called a Rome apple, okay? And it's red, and it's a shorter apple, a little rounder, and it has little flecks all over it. This is what I was telling you makes the best apple butter, because just the color. And if you cook it with the peelings on it, and then you run it, once it's softened, you run it through a sieve
which takes all the pulp of the apple out and that leaves the peelings. You throw the peeling away, but you get this nice, pretty color. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take a vote. Anybody? Can anybody? I think I know which one Daryl likes. Did you guys have a favorite?
Not really.
Erica says not a favorite.
No.
No, Kathy says a favorite. What do you think, Daryl? That Honey Crisp? Yeah, I think Daryl and I like that Honey Crisp. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I wanted one more thing before we go for the day, and I want to show you guys something if I can get it right. There is a legend. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Well, you can kind of see it. Okay. You can see this on this paper here. If you cut a apple diagonal, which I just did, okay, that has a pattern of a star. Can you see that? It's not the top, you can kind of see in the bottom, but it's supposed to branch out and it looks like a star. Okay, there is a legend, there's a story of the apple star. Okay. And I'll just read it to you. Show you the different apples. Okay. It says, once upon a time, a young apple tree began growing in an orchard. Each night she would gaze up into the evening sky and admire all the bright and twinkling stars. Oh, how she wished she had just one of those shining stars of her own. One night, an orchard fairy came to the tree with a promise to grant the little tree one wish. Without hesitation, the young apple tree told the fairy of her wish for a star of her own. The fairy promised that if the apple tree, that's to you guys. The fairy promised that if the apple tree was a good tree and grew to be big and strong and full of red, ripe apples, her wish would be granted. The apple tree tried her very hardest. Each sunny day, she lifted her branches up to the warm sunshine, and each rainy day, her roots soaked up the water she needed to grow. After several seasons, her hard work had paid off, and she was one of the biggest trees in the orchard, with the branches heavy with red, ripe apples. She waited and waited for the orchard fairy to return so she could show her what she had done and finally be granted her wish. The apple tree was beginning to lose hope when one day the fairy returned at last. The tree shook her limbs with excitement, showing off her strong branches and all those beautiful apples. Look, she exclaimed, I've worked so hard and I've waited so patiently. When will I finally be given my wish and one bright star of my own? Oh, my dear tree, replied the fairy, your wish has already been granted. You now have among your branches not just one, but as many stars as you've admired in the night sky. But where? Questioned the apple tree. All I see on my branches are leaves and those ripe apples. The orchard fairy gently answered, just peek inside any one of those apples. There you'll find a special secret hidden star. It's ready to be discovered by the lucky person who chooses one of the apples you've worked so hard to grow. So that's the legend of the apple star. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go check our apple butter, guys. Look here. The other side's, we got the other side over there complaining. Now, see how those melt down, and look at that really pretty color as those cinnamon hearts start to, and we just keep stirring.
Wow.
And that's what's giving that a really pretty color. And then as it cooks down, as we let it finish cooking, it's going to get thicker at the end of the day. And so now I think I've talked myself into, we're going to have biscuits and apple butter tomorrow once we cook this down. All right. Hey, Erica. Oh, I got a spoon right here. Let's see what we need. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, this is really good. May need a little more sugar, Erica. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Apple butter. We're getting heckled from the other side. Yep, that's good. Just a little bit more. Okay, a little more sugar. You want it really sweet. And then we're going to check it here in about another hour, see if that's enough cinnamon flavor. We might put a little more oil back in there, but it has turned an absolute gorgeous color. And then we'll put it in containers and everybody will get a sample to take home tomorrow. So.
Well, you definitely brought out the joys of fall, because I know our first session this morning we were talking about the fact that we didn't really expect hoodie weather to be here so quickly, but it is nice to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because the apples, apple and pumpkin flavored everything is around the corner. So
yeah, it's my favorite. I mean, I love summertime, but fall, it's just the warm days and the cool nights, and you get a bonfire or a little fire on the patio or something. And yeah, just that, and you can feel it in the air now. It's just that little bit like fall's just right around the corner when you.
So where did you hear about the cinnamon, what you just put in the candies?
The Red Hots, yeah.
The Red Hots?
We made it over to the church one time and we sold it. And that was one of the ladies told us that that's what she does with hers. And we'd always use the cinnamon oil, but that's what gives it that really pretty color. So at the Apple Festival, there's a couple groups that come down and they have a tent set up and you can just buy the quarts and the pints of apple butter and everything. But we love it. It's one of our favorite things to do.
That is a huge trick. So everybody on PALS TV today, that you just learned quite the professional trick to making apple butter, because that would definitely set the apple butter apart. And what is when you're making apple sauce versus apple butter, what is the main preparation difference there?
It's basically the same thing. You peel the apples and cut them down and let them cook down to the consistency that you like. And they have, with the natural juice, you don't have to add water to them or anything like that. And then if you like cinnamon in it or sugar, if you like sweetened, unsweetened, and you just add what you like to it.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing all of those fun tips, and it really makes me hungry. And if you guys haven't had breakfast yet, I think apples sound pretty good.
Yeah.
So that is all we have for our visit down in Gallia. Golf clap, everyone, for Lisa, for all of the awesome tips that she gave us, and the trivia or facts that she gave us about Johnny Appleseed as well. So thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you stopping by.
And for Dusty's comment, you can put sweetener in it, because my husband can't have sugar, so we make sugar-free apple butter at home. You just substitute the sweetener for the sugar. You're good to go.
So everybody can take some part in some apple butter.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
So we will be back at the top of the hour. Everyone else, I will let you guys take yourselves off of mute and socialize, but stick around. We still have some more fun coming. So we'll see you soon.